Good morning, everyone. A warm welcome to all of you in NATEB webinar series, which we call it Apprenticeship Dialogues, where we try to understand the role and efficacy of apprenticeship program with respect to creating talent, with respect to different industries, different job roles across industries. So in a recent survey, which was done by National Occupation Standard, and very interesting facts came into picture when they did the survey. Around 90% of the jobs today need skill, whereas only 10% need education. Whereas 90% of the students passing out from different schools and colleges in India have education, but they don't have skill or very limited skill with respect to what industry looks for. Around 54% of the employers today are concerned about the productivity of the employees. 50% of the hiring managers today face challenges with respect to hiring the right talent, right skill. 45% of the employers today are facing challenge with respect to increasing the manpower cost, with respect to increase in the wages and compensation. 40% of the employers today are losing talent to competition. 10% of the employers today are actually facing the huge attrition in organization across different sectors, across different industries, different job roles. Keeping in mind that particular challenge and thought process, there's a thought which is coming that can apprenticeship play an important role or maybe a solution provider for the industry to overcome the challenges. For this particular ecosystem, I think apprenticeship will play a very important role to understand and discuss the challenges and how industry is overcoming with this particular issues and concerns. Today, we have three eminent leaders from the industry where we're going to have a discussion on how we can overcome the challenges with respect to this particular concern. So we have Nitin Ambulkar, who is corporate HR head for Mongenis Food Limited. Then we have Mr. Rahul Bagale, who is deputy director for Faurecia Interior Systems.
Hello.
And then we have Mr. Amit Datta, who is head HR and administration, Dharampal and Premchand Limited.
Hi.
Hi everyone, and warm welcome again on behalf of Team Lees. So Nitin, hi. So Nitin, I think I'd like to start with you. I think we discussed yesterday also that you've been doing apprenticeship for a quite long time. If I remember, it's 15 years now.
Yes.
Right. So we would like to know from you how, what kind of initiatives you have taken in terms of apprenticeship is concerned to overcome the hiring challenges pre-COVID and post-COVID also because of this labor migration issue after the lockdown got over and lockdown 3, lockdown, unlockdown happening. So how your organization is overcoming the challenges by the way of apprenticeship program?
Okay. First of all, thanks for inviting me for this forum. Proud to say that Mongenis is a very reputed company and using the apprenticeship program for last almost around 14-15 years. Okay. We are taking the apprentice, the freshers from the various technical institute of food technology and also the catering colleges. In Maharashtra, there are also some ITIs who conduct some sort of food technology courses like bakery and cooking products. We do collect the kids from there. We also collect the kids from the younger age, from even some adolescents, from the NGOs who do it some sort of short courses and then coming to us for the proper apprenticeship program. They are, even the adolescents are there, something around 16 and a half plus, and we are taking it ahead with them. Proud to say that this is one of the prime channel of manpower, the talent with us. We are in the industry where we are using the manufacturing of the food products like cake and cookies and all other products, where people initially or the students initially know the basic aspects, but working with the high-end machines, making it more skillful, and the product professional look and feel should be there. The quality has to be maintained. This all needs to be get evolved with the learning. And we found that these apprenticeship programs are really useful for us. So my company is almost doing it for last 14 to 15 years. I'm proud to say that even before just closing down of the COVID, the entire number of these was almost around 92 in my organization.
Okay.
And in the last, when we started it in the month of July again, so July till onwards, now we are working on some percentage of the production. and almost more than 50% people apprentice who are on the local level, who are on the locals, have already joined my programs, the production scheme. And now from the 1st of the October, we are going with the full-fledged, that is 100% of the production. And then almost all these apprentices are going to join the organization. So that's the scenario of now. Facing a lot of challenges of getting these kids, we are doing a long process of interviewing them. More than typically getting the low cost manpower, we are focusing on the larger viewpoint, that is making them employable.
Okay.
Being them with us, learning the basic skill.
Okay, Nitin, I think some issue with your network. We cannot hear you.
Of their own small out. Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, audible. I think there's some issue out there. That's okay. No worries. Yeah. Yeah, Nitin, please. Yeah.
Yeah, I have finished.
Yeah.
Okay. The first part. Yeah.
Okay, Nitin, if I talk about what kind of job roles you put those people, it is only in manufacturing or in distributions and sales also?
No, yes. We are having three sort of roles, what we offer to them. One is typically the manufacturing one. The students and the youngsters who are coming up with some sort of basic qualification of food and the bakery and cooking courses. Then the second part of this apprentice, we are using into the sales force on the counter. We are having the almost around 1250 showroom pan India, sales outlets pan India. So there we take a sales training, we nourish them, we teach them right from the NLP program for the sales skills, and we enhance them. Proud to say that there are almost around 30 plus showroom in charge have once upon a time joined as an apprentice with us.
Okay, that is good.
So that's the achievement what we can say, and we feel that proud. This manpower is having a substantially good emotional attachment with the organization, and they are looking with us as a long career opportunity with us. On the other third side, we are also using the sales skills of them into the typical sales and the marketing activities, but predominantly into the marketing and into the counter sales. That's where we use this talent.
Okay, and how do you face the shortage of resources during the COVID time? How you overcome those things?
Yes, what happened typically now, the transport is going to be the biggest limitations as of now. Not even available in Maharashtra and some of the country other places. The local transport is not well available. And these youngsters, they don't have their own transport like bike and all. So number of them are there, but we have started some bus services from the common points for all our other workmen. So we also absorb these kids. The apprentice also should use our bus services, the transport services what we provide to them. So that's going to be there. So that's the only thing what I said, why there are only 50% as of now. And maybe from the 1st of the October, everything will be start smoothly. We will go for the all 24 hours production. So then everything will be on the smooth side. We will also provide them the good transport service. I hope hardly what we made a survey with them, we made a communication with them in the last around 2 weeks of a time about their availability and interest to rejoin. And good to say that hardly around 7 to 8% of the people have said that they are unable to join on the 1st of the October, but maybe down the line when the things will be smooth or when they will return, few of them went to their native place and other places, when they will return, they are definitely interested to continue.
Okay, great. So Rahul, I think
that's the scenario with us now.
Okay, great, Nitin. So Rahul, I think we discussed a couple of days back also, and the discussions we had. So I think your organization having also implementing apprenticeship for quite some time, and you overall as an industry expert or industry leader have been using apprenticeship program. So what are your initiatives in terms of how our apprenticeship program is helping in resolving the issues and concerns which we discussed when we started the discussion, that there's a 54% people today look for productivity concern, 45% employers today have the cost increasing with the manpower. So how your organization is using apprenticeship program to overcome these challenges pre-COVID and post-COVID?
Okay, so my perspective is like this. Pre-COVID, we were having a very good pool, rather people were easily available with the skill and technology. So we have high-tech technology in manufacturing of the instrument panel, or you say interior of the cars. However, post-COVID, as my co-panelist Nitin rightly said, because of migration of the people, there is an acute shortage, and we are not getting the people even though they would like to come and all. So sometimes we need to convince their family also that they are very much secure at our place. Not only that, but we have also sensitized all our workmen, including apprentices and all, through digital completion of the course, which enable them to aware about the global standards of for Asia.
Okay.
So this is a very app-based methodology. It's a MOOC you have to complete, which gives you very simple technology how to keep and how to save yourself during this pandemic, even though you are at home, you are at office and all. Talking about the skill, Dhruti, I always prefer, like, we need to employ them rather than we need to give the job, because according to me, whenever they are passing out from the college or other school, ITI schools and different things, they are very energetic, they are very passionate. It is up to the HR and the organization management that they are utilizing their skill for the next level. They are highly productive. So I always say that people are best when they are challenged. So we need to have the routine communication with them regarding the targets and all. You see, the interiors of the car is the aesthetic product. Okay. People always select the car based on few terminology, and the terminology also inclusive of the interiors, how the car looks from inside. So when they are manufacturing these interiors, we are proudly saying that you are touching the best class product. And even though we have the LHD production, which is for not only for domestic but also international market, they feel very proud that the car which is manufactured in, let's say, EcoSport or Ford, we are also doing LHD in Romania and North America. So these kind of feelings we are giving to the people, that you are touching to the quality of the product. So don't work unless and until you understand the product, you understand the dimension of the product, you understand the safety of the product. Because in food safety, according to me, Nitin will speak more, because we need to be very careful. It's not about job, it's about the commitment given to the work. So post-pandemic, these skill labor are very, very scarce, and we have now very selectivity. Like earlier, we were having a pool of people who we can choose, but now it is very, very selective choice. So this is difficult nowadays, but still the service providers are giving very positive hand in identifying the people. Dhruti.
So how you overcome the challenge in terms of supply chain during the COVID time?
Yeah. So what we did is that we have organized and we have managed a digitized dashboard. We connected with the people through WhatsApp group. We know that they are safe and all. And the moment we started getting permissions from respective states, we have the factories in Tamil Nadu, in Bangalore, in Andhra Pradesh. We started calling people safe by safe. And one of the practice what Nitin was saying is that we have given the pool of buses also. We have also reimbursed some kind of flight tickets to our operators to run our pen shop and all, which is in Chakan, Pune. So these are the different ways and means, even we don't bother about the cost, but we take care of the safety of our product and safety of the family. So various measures we take care, and still I think now volumes are for passenger cars, the volumes are boosting now, and which is a good sign for the industry, according to me.
Great. Thank you, Rahul, for your input. Hi, Mr. Datta. Does the Mr. Datta, the same thought process which we have is that how your organization is using apprenticeship program in terms of creating the supply chain, creating the talent part of it, post-COVID and pre-COVID also. So if you can let us know how you manage the part in terms of the creating the supply chain and impact which got because of the labor migration. So if you can share your thought process on this, Mr. Datta.
Yeah, surely. Thank you. I would like to share that we introduced this apprenticeship program somewhere around 7 years from now.
Okay.
And when we were planning actually for hiring apprentice for some units, then we had one project in Guwahati where we had to set up a confectionery and a personal care unit. It was a mega project for us. And the biggest challenge that time was getting skilled manpower. So that time actually we had a requirement of say 100 skilled manpower who were required to operate the machines which were imported from either UK, China, Germany. So like all imported machines and very sophisticated plant we had set up. So the production unit there kind of came up with a challenge that we need 100 skilled manpower, and in various areas like electrical, manufacturing, production, maintenance, things like that. So now the talent available in Guwahati is quite limited. That time we did not have much confectionery plant in or around Guwahati. So either we had the option to take people from here and then kind of utilize them, or kind of build up a talent pool. So we came up with a scheme that yes, we need to do a survey of the whole workflow there. And because this was basically a requirement of the production and they did not want to take chances means by employing freshers on the machines, which were kind of high valued machines. So what we jointly organized a work study program for the setup, and then we identified certain areas where we could engage the apprentices, and it worked out well. And we engaged around 15 apprentices from the local ITIs and polytechnics, who were all technical people. And the best part is that after that experience by our production unit, and it has become a yearly feature for us that every year we are actually hiring good number of people for our Guwahati unit from the for the various apprentices trade what we have there. And the best part was that during the lockdown, we had actually got permission for operating our unit there. But the only condition was like if you could make arrangement for the workers in the setup itself.
Okay.
So we got the permission from the police authorities, and it was these trainees actually, I tell you, who came up and stayed at the unit, and it was a kind of I would say 12-hour shift which they worked on, and they are a kind of a moral boosters. So we are quite confident that these people are a good was a good decision on our part, that they have in the testing time they have helped us.
True.
So that was one area which I'm talking about Guwahati specifically. Then we have also people for the sales team, where we have around 100 sales people who are under the university scheme what we have, and they are also kind of the frontliners, and we have engaged them on all pan-India basis. Now there also we had the challenge from the sales people that we need trained people and not kind of freshers. So I tell you, like, it worked out very nicely, because they were the young energetic people who could be actually trained, and they were willing to learn also. So the advantage of like a certification first, and then followed by a association with a good company. So that was the kind of a feedback we got from them. And as of date, we have a good number of people, and we have some more people in the time to come. And post-COVID, though, we had a lot of movement of people from our units who moved out, and for the reasons best known to all of us, that things were quite difficult. But somehow I tell you, the moment we have actually now opened up and we are floated applications that we want to hire more people. So there is a kind of a good number of people who are again approached us that they want to undergo the apprenticeship program with us. So that's quite encouraging for us. And I think so. The best part is that everyone, all the departments, like where there was a lot of resistance, that was the most challenging part on HR. Like they were always saying ki we want trained people. That is the requirement of most of the department. So as on date, we are quite confident, and like people are supportive as well, that fine, fresher will do. So and we are actually like we save on cost, we save on resources, and they are young people and they are willing to take up any challenge. So that's a very good experience what we have pre-COVID and during the lockdown plus the post-COVID situation.
Great. It was a great input from Mr. Datta. So Rahul, I'll go back to you. I think when we talk about apprenticeship program, we always say that apprenticeship program is the best way to create talent across industry, across job roles. So what is your input on this? Have you been able to create those kind of case studies where you can say, okay, apprenticeship is creating future talent for organizations, and how you are doing that?
Yeah. So I will take couple of my different experience in different industry. I work with automotive, with F&B, beverages company, FMCG also. What I saw that if the loyalty is coming from day one, no, starting from the day one of the apprentice, and if the person is having very good zeal to grow, I seen couple of industry people. In one of my industry, the person has reached from apprenticeship to the director level of that company, and that's a commitment of the management also to elevate the. This is applicable only and only if we are trusting our own people and giving them room. Most of the thing that whenever you are hiring laterals, organization generally important. Answering back point number 2 on your question, we need to increase the employability in students. Example, let's say if I'm giving a knowledge to the painter who is basically paint instrument panels and door panels. So he should not earn this money only, but also should be having hands-on experience on painting technology. Okay, so he should aware about what kind of components he is using, what kind of material is harmful for his body, whether he is using that PPEs and not. So he himself is creating his one kind of expertise in a paint expert who can further take a diploma course in paint technology and all, or polymer technology and all. So people should grow, I think, rather than they should only work for the organization. Unfortunately, in India, we are just taught like this to hire the low-cost model of apprenticeship, get some reimbursement from the government, and manage your labor cost within 2%, 3%, and that's the reality. Unfortunately, we are not thinking about that. We are not enriching our workforce from that perspective. So there are a couple of examples we also created from when we started the Greenfield project in my one of the company. Lear Automotive, we started engaging the apprentices under the Apprenticeship Act. We converted them into trainee. They were very good in and instrumental in installation of the lines and quality control for 6 OEMs, including major OEM in Pune, including VW, Mahindra, then General Motors, and other CKD products. So having said that, we had the record break installation in the company. We we migrated all 6 plants into one, and these kind of people have not only given the right product, but also there were no quality complaints and all. So then we eventually started like phasing these people into giving permanent role and all. So evolution from apprentice and reaching to the good job role and having some specified skill is very, very important, and our organization should look from that point also. Not 100%, but at least 50%, 60% you can convert which are the good apprentices.
So you clearly believe in terms of creating the talent for future workforce through apprenticeship program. You said a couple of examples you have given already when we started the discussion, but I want to know how you're doing this in terms of like maybe some couple of more examples, how you have organization as an organization, you've been able to create that supply chain or create talent through apprenticeship program.
What Mr. Rahul said is exactly some good points which we also experienced, and I just recollected that. Picking these apprentice, giving them the opportunity to grow along with the organization really found fruitful. Few things is that, first of all, their attachment to the organization is quite high, because being into the very young age, they are attached with the first job, and then it is going to be much more focused for them, number one. Number two, most of them are the locals. So for them, it is going to be the convenient place of working. Third part is that most of the times we experience, or we rather call this apprentice, the young apprentice, when they join, we make their parents get together.
Okay.
So that gives another good boost to make their family understand that they are working with one of the known brand of this in this country, and into the better place of working, where the seniors are going to take care of their young kids, make them much more skillful and employable in a longer term. That's we really found it much more practically effective in the last around 8 to 10 years practice of ours. Second part, which I really noticed into this apprentice, they are ready for multi-skilling.
Okay.
They are young, they are dynamic, they learn number of things in their classroom, and they really want to try into the practical employment. So it's going to be much more easier for us for developing their multiple skills into the multiple departments. So not even into the production, they are also ready to work into the understanding of the overall working. The kids who completed their courses of bakery and cooking ITIs are also, we found, interested into the sales team operations. We give them an opportunity even to be there for around a 1 month time to understand how the products are get sold on the counter and what's going to be the.
Okay, Nitin, I think some issue with the network. I'll come back to you with this particular input. I think we will go to Mr. Datta. Mr. Datta, I think as you rightly said, COVID helped you to create the case studies for your production people to hire apprentices, freshers, and even in sales also. So what is the thought process in terms of creating the talent through apprenticeship program? Maybe COVID can be a case study for you, but in longer term, what do you feel that apprenticeship can replace the one of the ways by which organization can create the supply chain in terms of creating talent, in terms of creating the human resource, creating the manpower which is required for future job roles? Today, the job roles are changing every day. So what do you feel that apprenticeship programs can actually help us in creating the job roles or creating those people ready for future job roles?
Yeah, certainly, I agree. In fact, some of the points which Nitin was highlighting means the kind of the fresh talent what you get, then you get to engage local people, and plus you are interacting with the local industry as well. So that actually helps us in getting the local people involved in our industry itself, like to meet up any kind of a requirement. So it's a kind of a win-win for the locals and the company as well. So that is one major thing which I think so helps in the industry functioning when you need local people involvement. Then coming to the other part is which Nitin was also mentioning, the employability of these trainees who undergo this apprenticeship course with us. And just to share one aspect which we are facing as of now, that the industries which are opening up now in and around Guwahati, they are eyeing on our people. So we feel proud rather. It's basically the employability that we have trained our people, and the industry, neighboring industry, is willing to utilize their talent. So we don't mind. So, but we feel good in that we have actually built up a talent pool in that area, and where people have known us. People have known us that yes, if you get a person from Dharampal Premchand Limited, he will be a good resource. So the kind of a training method what we adopt, and the skilling of the apprentices, that actually helps us in building the talent. And I'm sure this apprenticeship is after this COVID, it's going to be everyone, like the neighboring industries, they may follow the apprenticeship processes, and they may kind of engage people in these areas. So certainly it is a kind of it will improve the local employment opportunities.
Correct. So, Nitin, I think we like to have one input from your side. The way Mr. Datta was telling that getting the buying from the internal stakeholders is something which is sometimes very challenging when you hire freshers and an apprentice. So, how you overcome this? I'm sure you also have some challenges when you initiated this apprenticeship program.
Yeah, what I said, yeah, typically the challenges are there, but especially in our units which are having working for long years, are already people knowing the outcome of this program. So they are much more convinced. So right now, maybe in the last around 4-5 years, that educating of my colleagues that these people, these kids, youngsters are good into talent and more utilizable are much less now. So in my organization, it's much more convinced. But on the other hand side, in the new units, and especially when we start in a new unit into the interior part, and we take the apprentice, obviously there are going to be some sort of reservations from my senior team, especially into the production side in terms of the quality and quantity. But as I said, we do number of parallel activities for making the involvement of these apprentices much more into the organization. We typically, as I first said, that in the first time itself, when they enter, we do the parents get together.
Yeah.
Then on the second, what we do typically, these new apprentices, when they come, we do their monthly meets. And these monthly meets, most of the time is getting followed with the lunch or a dinner as per their working hours, along with the other team members, other production team members. So there is a lot of assimilation happening. They are coming across with the other department operations. They understand with them. We also take them into the rostering them into the different departments. So they get overall understanding of it. And also this youngster shows the multi-skilling willingness to do the multi-skilling. That is going to be much more appreciated by my senior members into the team. Okay. So they also feel that these youngsters are not only going to be focused on one single small thing, they are multi-skilling, they are multi-talented, they are ready to take the new challenge. They are very open with any sort of new changes, like typically what I heard now, they are the first one who come into the after starting of the COVID. Yeah. We also experienced the same. We was expecting that out of my apprentice and my trainees, hardly few will come, but trust me, it was very the great number. We are also surprised, even though they are the youngsters, they might have some sort of reservation in the mind. Maybe their parents will not allow because they are typically the decision makers in their case. But we got an excellent response from them, or rather I will say more than 75%, 80% people on the first call when we did to them about their availability and rejoining of the duty in the month of June itself. 75 to +% people was immediately ready to join into the first batch itself. So that's going to be that willingness, that multi-skilling readiness to work into various works. So the senior team members into the team get convinced that these are going to be much more useful talent pool for them into their departments, whether it is going to be the production, whether it is even into the counter sales.
Yeah.
The counter sales on our almost around 1200, 1250 sales outlets. These youngster kids are ready to work for a longer hours as and when it is required into the season times and all. Also very communicative. They are very well communication skill in terms of the language.
Yeah.
Being into the even though their educations may be a little on the lower side, maybe the schooling completed and all, but their communication skill, whether it is going to be the local language, whether it is going to be the Hindi or essentially the basic English, we found it comparative to the elder age people. These youngsters are much more communicative, much more precise into communication in the sales teams. So that also we found it much better. So that overall gives a good, I will say that good rapport of them with my senior team members, and the acceptability of them into the team was much more higher with us.
Great, Nitin. I think I'll go with the same question, Rahul. How you have you have the same challenge in convincing the top management, maybe internal stakeholders, that you should take apprentices, and then maybe there's a pushback coming that they are freshers. So how you overcome those challenges, because that is related to the creating supply chain for future workforce. Right?
Absolutely. The thing is that most of the people at senior management, by virtue of their knowledge, they always see this, and it has been taught that these are the cost saving programs. We'll get some refund, and that's the reason it is low cost effective. So convincing them that this is not only cost saving, but this is also employability is very, very important. Second perspective from the operations point of view is they need a stable manpower for a couple of years. Unfortunately, Indian provisions of labor laws, we have some practice of keeping 30% fixed manpower, 70% floating manpower, depending upon the exigencies of the work and nature of that industry also. It varies from different to different organizations. So they always to prefer those people who will be staying more than 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Take example of NEEM example. They can be part of 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, and we can enhance and so that the talent is retained with us and all. The challenge in apprentice is that again it cannot be comparable because altogether it is a different model. So moving these people, like convincing these people is okay, we can able to convince them, but what we did is that we also have taken few of the good people. I cannot claim it as apprentices, but good people who work with us in our Chennai plant. And since we have formed the new plant in Ammarupalli, which is catering to Kia Motors, we converted few good people into trainee and given the permanent role. So this kind of conversion always boosts the morale of the people who are on the shop floor, saying that there is a future. So we cannot comment each and every on this, but this is one of the reason like people like the organization. That is point number one. Convincing is not an issue. It should not be a compliance point of view, Dhriti. According to me, we should convince the people that it is the employability point of view. We need to train them into various different segments. For example, we are training them into pen technologies. We are training them into cut and sew technology. We are training them into welding technology, vibration welding in plastics and all that. So by virtue of the experience of 2-3 years, they can very well employable. Unfortunately, what I was hearing from Amit and Nitin is that who are instrumental in supplying the skill manpower is the contractor rather, or service provider. Let's say it may be TeamLease or any other service provider. So government also need to take very actionable steps to create the pool of these people, so that let's say food and bakery products supply chain people needed, then government should give some boosting on this. Here what I heard from Nitin is that they have created their own network which is connected with, to the society. So here I can see there is a gap where government can also do, and we can also suggest this thing to government by creating such pool of expert or SME in that technology.
Okay, I think very good input, Nitin. Rahul, sorry. Mr. Datta, I think I'll go back to
Yeah.
one very important question. I think even though we discussed a couple of inputs from your side with respect to creating supply chain and initiative you took and with respect to
Mhm.
post-COVID and pre-COVID. So what is if you talk about what a visible outcome as an organization you see from apprenticeship program? What the visible outcome you see from an apprenticeship program with respect to the organization is concerned?
Okay. Uh, I would like to mention that we actually identify one is the technical trade and other one is the general trade. When we talk about technical trades, so these are all for manufacturing units. So there we actually, during the training, we identify people who are kind of fast movers, fast learners, and means potential good candidates for higher role. And the other one is the kind of a general. So that is generally in the range of, I would say, fast track movers are 30% and rest is the 70% is the general. So when we have the 30% people, 30% people who are means kind of a put into multi skilling in the sense that they are used for other departments as well, other sections I would say, and they are kind of they can reach the higher levels in up to the position of manager for that matter. And in fact, some of them have been promoted means in the fast track to certain higher positions. So when we talk about the general, there also we have means opportunities for these people, and means in fact some of the people like if they want to move out from their particular state to some other state, that also option is given to these people. So we are kind of a locally building up talents in Guwahati. If we want to kind of go for some other units, their expansion program, so we have good number of people, and plus for our other units in other states, so we are shifting the manpower also, like if they want to kind of come down, settle, so it is actually helping us creating a bigger pool of people for these roles, so that doesn't become a challenge for us.
So it means that the visible outcome for an organization like yours is creating, getting the pool, right? Which is like
Absolutely,
a talent
absolutely.
pool, right?
Yeah.
What about Nitin? What about Nitin about your organization? What do you feel about the visible outcome of Mongenes through the apprenticeship program?
We are looking to the apprenticeship program or the traineeship program, what we are having parallelly running for the entry level people. We are looking this into the largest view. First of all, we are looking at them typically as the good intake of the human talent on the entry level. But on the other hand side, we are also keeping a view to make them employable. So that is what is going to be our larger view to this entire program, not only typically looking for the low cost manpower recruitment and all. So that's what we are going to be there. On the other hand side, as I said into my last conversation also, out of my entire manpower, today almost around 7 to 8% of the entire manpower of ours is recruited through apprentice and the traineeship program. They get higher into the ladders and many of them reach even up to the level of assistant and deputy manager.
Yeah.
We also give them the opportunity in between of their career of around 3 to 5 years, whatever they spend with us, to enhance their technical skill by going to the academic institutes and getting the courses on the cost of the company and make them into the employable and much more higher into the another position, the next level positions. Right? Because food technology starts with the courses typically from 6 weeks to the 3 years diploma, and then it is going to be 4-year degree. So we give them the opportunity, and there are number of students we found that few of them are reached even up to the second line in command in some of our units. That is up to the assistant and the deputy manager. That's the visible outcome what we got. Number one. Number two, the students or these entrants who are not interested to continue with us into the employment, they are also getting the good experience knowledge about making the food products at their local level.
Okay.
That's also, and their home and all, they are going to get these new ideas of cooking, understanding it, making the cakes, making the chocolates at the home. Some of them can also go with the small scale business of their own, so that's make them much more employable into the other way. Third side, what we typically do into the sales and the marketing team, they understand a network of our working, and they got a good opportunity of learning it. As I said, we typically do a program for them on counter program, what we call. So this, all sales team of mine, the entrant level people, go through this. So these give them an overall vision or understanding of the entire operations, which help them out to go into the higher into the ladder in terms of the career. Because this happens because typically what I said, they are ready for multi-skilling.
Yeah.
They are ready for understanding the new things. Typically, if I take someone with a 4-5 year experience into the sales and ask them to be on the counter for 3 weeks, there might be a resistance. But the student, the entrant who come with the apprentice program or the traineeship program are much more willing to learn these multiple skills. And these multiple skills learning and using of it is going to be much more useful for the organization and definitely and simultaneously for their own career. So that's what we experience, and that is the tangible outcome what we saw. On the other hand side, almost in the last around 14-15 years, I'm very sure whatever the entrants went through this program in my organization, the employability either with my organization or either somewhere else is much more higher. And number of times we've seen that they are remembering that what they have taken, the knowledge part, understanding part from our organization, along with that intimacy of the first job and
Yeah.
typically the attachment with the first job. So that is what is with the Monginis.
So if I summarize it, so it's basically the employability part of it, and then they can be an entrepreneur also by themselves because they have gone with hands-on with the job roles and other things.
Yes.
Right. So Rahul, I'll come back to the same question. So when you talk about the visible outcome of apprenticeship program for an organization, how you take it from the ROI part of it? I'm not talking about the cost, the cheap cost labor kind of a thing, but I'm talking about the ROI part of it. So what is your thought in terms of like ROI can be one of the outcome for an organization, and how you think it can help your organizations?
Yeah, according to me, any fresher who is or joining the organization will take another 2 to 3 months to have the hands-on in giving 100% output. From day one, we cannot expect someone like he has to give 100% or not, even though he wish to, because understanding the product technology and coping with the experienced people is required some kind of time frame. So according to me, these people are giving very good returns in terms of productivity and all when they are shadowing the skilled people. Okay. When we are saying shadowing, it exactly meaning of they are just copying the way it has to be done. So we have work content for different people, we have line balancing and all, and sometimes the visible outcome is that on a critical station, let's say my firewall is a critical station, and firewall is a final audit of the product, which after which the product directly goes to the customer, because we are into B2B business. Okay.
Yeah.
We are not into B2C. So any product which is going to customer, it will be directly installed in the car. So even that station, let's say firewall, they are deployed. So that much dependency we have created through shadowing program, which is very, very important to understand. Increasing percentage of apprentices or NAPs in manpower planning is also visible outcome. So for example, earlier it was not there. Now slowly we started post pandemic, from July onwards, we started getting the manpower. We convinced management to have this as a rational, because then it is giving very good inputs, and we need to use the energy of these people into a very right sense. experience. If you are taking lateral people, let's say 2-3 years of experience, they might not give you the energy what these freshers are giving.
Exactly.
So this is very, very important. And of course, the last is employability. So let's say we are into pen technology and all that in Pune or in Chennai. There are other competitors also who will employ them. So what I fully agree with Nitin, that multi-skilling is very, very important, because it is not only the question of SME, subject matter expert in one area, but these people are really should not depend on one industry. What Amit was also saying, fetching the people outside your industry, it's actually your appreciation. They are really respecting the way you train them and you nurture them. So that's the reason. So ROI will come at maybe 6 to 7 months, according to me. And we really test the fruits of really trained people. So shadowing is very, very important according to me, and we are doing very closely in this. For this, we may have some kind of added population to observe this workstation with a skilled manpower. Dharti.
Great. So I think collectively you guys have almost 25 years of experience in implementing apprenticeship program, right? So what is your recommendation to the industry, to your same sectors about the apprenticeship program? If you can, maybe Mr. Datta, if you can, what is your recommendation to the industry with respect to apprenticeship program?
Okay. Well, if you see, go to the history, like Apprenticeship Act was somewhere 1961. It all came into act, but it has taken too many, I would say, too many years that people are not aware of the advantages of this act. So maybe people in the HR know like what are the advantages and how it can help us in getting the manpower, and plus the other benefits as well. But general perception is that it is a kind of a training of freshers. That's it, nothing beyond that. So everyone means most of the other departments, they think that fine, this will just maybe we have to just train people and then just forget it. So the time devoted on the training of the these trainees is one challenge which we normally encounter the HR people. So here the role of HR has to be very, very important, that yes, time and again there has to be some kind of a measurement, some kind of a guiding to the trainees, some kind of a hand holding to the trainers as well. So one important aspect is that the creating a awareness among the other departments that yes, apprenticeship is very useful and this is going to help us in the long run. That is one has to be established. Number two is the kind of a cost, as we have been talking about, like what are the cost advantages also. So that is again a matter which can be shared with the management, and plus I mean, so that is another aspect which we need to do, and plus the kind of talent which we are creating, which is not only we will be known by our trained manpower in the neighborhood, but naturally as in the industry. Like if you talk about like say FMCG, yes, if a person says like, oh, he has been trained in X company, so means that itself is a credibility of the organization, which creates kind of a good sense among the competing industries, or like similar industries which employ people in those trades. So overall, we need to convince and take it along.
Great. So Nitin, what is your recommendation to peer group and the industry as a whole with respect to apprenticeship?
We should look at it into the much larger way, and also for the much larger time frame. See, if we just check with the other countries, most of the time we have seen that this traineeship program or the apprenticeship program is for 1.5 to 2 years. In most of the countries, the time frame is that. What Mr. Rahul said, typically it's not going to be get the ROI immediately into the first month and the second month and the third month, because these youngsters need to cope them not only into the working environment, but also into the psychological mind frame of them, into being into the first employee, the first job of them into that. So that's going to be one more important thing that organization should look at for that for a longer perspective with a longer tenure part. Like us, we are typically, even though the government rules are for the 6 months and all, we are typically making them for the 1.5 year, and then we take them into next 6 months into the traineeship. So with the 2 years of a time, that's going to give us much more employable people. And trust me, the retention rate is very high. Many of the times it happens that we need to eliminate them of some good candidates, because that's going to be make them into the much more conversant with the work environment and make them more employable. I really recommend this channel to all my HR colleagues that they should really focus on this and utilize this channel into the much more positive way for the organization, which is going to be a longer term employability making with the people, with these entrants, and also giving them the good opportunity along with the organization where they are going to have that attachment of employment with the organization, which is going to be the very positive aspects. So I definitely recommend for that, and I really ask my HR colleagues to consider it for the longer terms, not typically with the typical government limitations and the time frame what they have mentioned, because that may be much more limited and may not give the typically expected outcome of it. And we are doing this model for last around almost around 7 to 8 years with this 1.5 year and 6 months additional part. And we really found it from them. We really found it very, very effectively working and getting, as I said, almost around 12% to 14% manpower is coming through this channel for me.
Yeah, great, Nitin. So, Rahul, what is your recommendation to the industry with respect to apprenticeship?
Okay, so very quick, I will have 2-3 recommendation. First of all, to all HR fraternity, that don't sell this model as a cost saving model, because then this is very, very important, and wherein we are failing to convince our management. And if we are not convinced, then we are not contributing to society and to the nation. So that is very, very important. Second thought is that whenever we are using apprentices and all, we always see, okay, there is a skill shortage, and we are always talking about skill. So what is skill shortage? According to me, we are not focusing on technology, what technology is coming because of the automations, even though in food industry, in different set of industry and all. If we know what is the technology is coming, and if we are adopting few of the apprentices to learn the in advance during their traineeship and all as an internship, I think we can fulfill the skill gap on this. So people can or other organizations can easily tie up with the different ITs to have the partnership and getting the skill enhancement before passing out the apprenticeship. This is one of the important thing I need to say. Third one is that the digital technology we need to create. For example, this is just a crazy idea. Maybe I don't know if people will like it or not. Can we create some kind of skill card to the employee or skill passport? Example, if X person is trained on food and beverages technology for certain years, so as like visa stamping we are giving, so the person is getting day by day stamping on his skill card, whether it is digital, whether it is physical. But this always give a boosting to the person that, okay, he has contributed not only 3-4 industry, but different kind of technologies, and then employability certainly will increase. So we have the digital government of India has have the digital library also, and documentation also, so that can be one of the part. Third is I prominently remember government of France in Europe, they are using the VIE technology, VIE scheme. So what they are doing is they are identifying very key people, talented people from the Europe. They're sending across to India, Japan, Korea, Thailand, like this, and they are nurturing these people, and cost is fully borne by the government. Okay, so this kind of upper level decisions for key people, for key technologies we need to create, and we should give some kind of international exposure not only to apprentices but also to higher education, higher educated people, let's say board of apprenticeship and training or something different we can do. So it is not limiting to the apprentice, but it can also go beyond that. And what is important is to create the employability. What I second Nitin's opinion, that we should give more and more internal opportunity to people to grow. So whenever you have the lateral hirings, prefer those who have
Yes.
completed the apprenticeship and contributed to your organization. That's all
Great.
from my side.
Yeah, I think the discussion was very fruitful. We have a few questions, very interesting questions. I think we'll take another 5-6 minutes to address those questions, and then maybe we can conclude. So, Mr. Datta, there's a question there's a question for you. What is your experience with respect to retention challenges for frontline salespeople under the apprenticeship program?
Yeah, generally there is a feeling that the attrition rate in sales has been on the higher side. But when you go through this channel of training, so one is the kind of the time frame. We have a 1 year training period where the person is kind of a, I would say, waiting for the certification to be done, and plus the kind of he gets a certificate on completion of that 1 year course. So as it was pointed out, like generally 2-3 months is the kind of learning time for the sales person, and subsequently he's a kind of he knows everything, and the performance is generally found quite good. And means plus we have the people with us for 1 year, so and thereafter, yes, there are challenges that maybe we also have some screening done, and the good people are absorbed in our company, and like who are not so good, they are again they're given some more training, and if they kind of come up to our expectations, again they are absorbed. But yes, there are some challenges, and this is an ongoing process. So but at least if you get maybe just out of 100, if we get 60 good people every year who are continuing with us, that actually achieves our requirement.
Great. So Nitin, there's a question for you. It says, so you hire ITIs, apprentices, under which trade? Is it, and today we have two trades, designated trade and optional trade. So there's a question from Vilas, says that you take ITIs from which trade? So if you can give your input on this.
Yes, in many of, as I said, in Maharashtra, and many of the ITIs have started the bakery courses. So we do pick up the kids from there. So for the apprenticeship program, also we do take a trades from various institute of food technology for our typically testing and all other purposes, and also on the production side, catering colleges. So there are a number of catering colleges who are running the various courses for the bakery and cooking. We do pick up the kids from there for the apprenticeship program and the traineeship program.
Great. So Rahul, there's another question. I think you should answer this question. So there's a question from the audience that how you manage the attrition part of it, in terms of what is the attrition ratio in terms of apprenticeship is concerned, apprentices are concerned, and how we address those concerns with respect to dropout before they complete the apprenticeship program.
Okay, very good questions. Basically, unless and until management is convinced that it is a good event and people from shop floor are contributing to this, apprentices will not feel easy. For me, it is very, very important that we need to give some kind of correct hand holding of apprentices at the shop floor, so that they should not lose their interest. We cannot expect these are supermans driving with 100% efficiency and all, unless until we are taking them into confidence. I think this is the first step. People are getting the spark that this is not my cup of tea and I'm losing from this industry. So a reason of dropout should be very, very clear. But for me, it is very, very important that I will take a local people more, because then they the homesickness and dropout rate will be lesser. Even like comfort level, traveling cost, and everything will be more comfortable. Sometimes we also need to convince a family also that and this is very, very important. And once you are attached to the family, I think you are connected with that person. So even though, like, people, apprentice want to leave the company, their parents will not allow them to
Yes.
leave, because then
Yeah.
because of the commitment and attachment to the organization. Third reason is to take care of their basic needs, because we for example, I will just let you know, in my one of the organization in LG Electronics, we were map ourselves as a parents of people. So
Yeah.
one HR was parenting for almost 150 people. So we narrated these people that go to shop floor. Don't expect that they will come to you to for small queries and all. It is your duty during the tea time. You go to shop floor and understand their queries and resolve that. So if you are resolving this kind of proactive mechanisms, they feel very good, and it is very good connectivity between the people. So you are really creating some value to the organization, rather, because frustration will come whenever the issues are not resolved, irrespective of the personal issue or the organization issue. So these are the 2-3 things we need to take care, so that attrition will be lesser. There will be organic attrition, and we require that organic attrition also, but it should not be regrettable attrition at this time, according to me. Thank you.
So one more question, maybe, Nitin, if you can let us know. So when you talk about the social security part of it for apprentices, right? So what is your thought on this? Because with respect to the social security and other things, benefits to the apprentices.
See what I said. Social security part is typically what is going to be the legally binding on us. We are definitely doing. But on the other hand side, what Mr. Rahul said, ki there is going to be a need of tie up with them into by the understanding level with the individual and also with their family. That part we focus more than the typically social security, what is being defined into the government rules. As I said in my last communication, we do their get together of their parents.
Yeah.
So that is what is going to be the pressure from the parental side, that the kid is attending the apprenticeship program or not, or the traineeship program or not. Also, as I said, we keep them at par for all other facilities what we offer to our other employees, whether it is going to be the canteen service, whether it is going to be the bus service and all. So they feel that they are the team members of them, and they are not just the junior who come there for doing the apprentice. Also, on the other hand side, what Mr. Rahul said, I really recollected that in our program, there is going to be typically a fortnightly, my HR team go and sit with the apprentice, one of the HR team members from every factory, go and sit with them on the tea party. We call it tea party. We are into the confectionaries and we have the cakes and all, we have the pastries we offer to them. So whoever is going to be 4, 5, 7, 10, 12, 15 apprentice and trainees are there, they sit with my HR executive, and there is going to be a tea party in the canteen where they discuss across the table with their own ideas. There may be the complaint, there may be the understanding, there may be the clarification required. So that we really found in the last around 4-5 years time when we started that, that's really give the emotional connect of them to the first employment, and they are become much more attached. So they are ready for taking the much more challenges. On the other hand side, CSR, typically what we are doing is going to be as per the government rules, giving them the benefits of it, whatever the schemes are coming, the wages, facilities and all others. So that's always there.
Right. So I think we already exceeded 10 minutes. I think there are a few more important questions. Maybe we can take it separately. Thank you everyone, Rahul, Amit, Mr. Datta and Mr. Nitin, for taking out time for this session. I think it's very insightful, and I think your inputs will definitely make lot of impact to the industry. And thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.